Hello everyone, this is Shadow Dragon recording from the test server. So they put a lot of stuff up on here today. So it's a mix of the Titans DLC as well as Augments. But I'm going to cover just the first look at Augments in this video. Because that has me more worried than the Titans content, because content is just content. But this is going to change the way we build our characters, and it's potentially quite a task to try to get the augments to match the stats of the way our characters are now on live. So I definitely want to take a deeper look at this, more so than the content. And it's probably going to be a bit confusing, because I'm a little confused, even watching that video twice, the live stream. It's going to be a learning curve, but overall I think just the fact that we're not remodding multiple times is going to make this better in the long run. It's just going to be hard the first time. So before this goes live, I recommend that everyone take multiple screenshots of your stats. Definitely get your overall stats, and then take screenshots of every gear piece and how it's modded. Because the goal is to try to get the augments to equal the same thing. And I just had a league mate verify this, but I was looking at a few pieces of the mirror gear from Deluge. That's the item level 205 vendor gear, and I just looked at some random parts: shoulders, hands, waist, and feet, just to verify that they didn't change the stats on these. So what you're looking at here is exactly the same stats as what you would get on live, except you notice that there's no more socket for the mod, and no socket bonus. So the first thing we're going to concentrate on are two menus. So this is the inventory menu, and the two that we're going to use are the artifacts menu, where we're fortifying artifacts. They also added the augments to this menu. And it also now tells you what's actually equipped. So even with the artifacts, these are the two equipped ones. And then the other two are just in my inventory. And same case with the augments and runes. So the new menu is the one next to the fortify one. And this is what we got on test. I don't know if we were awarded that for test, or if these are just what we have to choose from. There's no way to remove them. The good thing is they don't take up inventory space. They're on their own menu. I wonder if there's any options though, because if I'm a tank, I'm never going to use Vit. But I could see that you could fortify these by mistake. Where do I start? So I went ahead and I fortified one of the precision ones. We got 4 golden exobytes, and I think we're going to get awarded some amount that's equivalent to whatever tier we're in. So this would be a tier 9 example. So I'm going to go ahead and fortify these. So let's see, it jumps us up. Did I do that right? why did it make one of them 199 and another one of them 193? Okay, let's do the might ones. So this would be the battle tank build. I'm not quite sure if I'm doing this as precisely as I want it to, because currently on live, Alyssa is wearing a mix of gear. So she has like a good mixture of damage and tank stats. And I don't think I can replicate that with these 4 slots. So I'm just kind of doing it as if this is DPS, so it's half might, half precision. Because she is like a hybrid. A lot of countering and of course a lot of mixing in powers. Alright, so let's do the might ones. And that went to 194. Why did the first one go to 199? I don't get that. Okay, so if I go back, okay, so I'm choosing the 4th one now. And that's the last golden exobyte. And you could see the whole mess of all other like random equipment or R&D items. They're just all in like the fortify menu for augments. So let's go ahead and throw all this in. Now, those don't amount to much, but at least we can use them for something. So, yeah, just to recap, you're going to have this menu with all the runes. I don't know what goes in these 2 augment slots quite yet, because I don't have anything here that can be slotted in there. But if we roll over these runes, you could see what it's adding to the stats. So it doesn't look like you can do mixed builds to the degree that we can now. Because let's say, for example, alright, I need to reference this on my other computer. Okay, so for example, currently in the head slot, there's a yellow socket. So as a firepower, I'm slotting in resto and precision. So in this build, there's nowhere to spec for that restoration. So that slight restoration bump that I have on live can't be replicated with augments, at least that I know of. And actually, if I did that, what I could do is put the resto rune here. But because there's only 1 slot for that small bump on live, it's not worth it to put the entire resto rune there. Because that means I would only fortify it a little bit just to equal what I have on live, and that would be taking the space of something that would get higher stats for something that's more used than restoration. So that's just an example of something we can't do, although that's probably a minor thing, because that little bit of resto probably isn't impacting too much. So I would expect the total resto stat to be lower. It should be a little bit lower. But I think that's my first impression for now. I probably need to look at that video again to see what actually goes here. But some of the things I like, if this is actually what like all builds are going to default to, like everyone's going to have whatever 4 of everything, there should be a way to kind of lock or disable these. Let me see if there's an option. No, there's no option to do that. Yeah, I can just move them around. But yeah, I would like to lock these vit ones, because if you go to the fortify menu, everything shows up. Or does it? Oh yeah, everything shows up. So you could actually fortify these by mistake. Let me see if we're missing anything else here. So just like all other equipment, like whatever you slot in here, they work like artifacts. Like these will save to your armory. Is it a separate menu item though? No, they just count as equipment. So if I wanted to imprint equipment, so you can't imprint the augments separately. Which, that's probably not a big deal. So the regular inventory screen does not show the augments. Yeah, you pretty much have to be on either of these screens. But yeah, before this goes live, take a screenshot of everything here in whatever armories you have, if there's like different levels of damage and your support roll. And then also take screenshots of each of these, because that way you have some way of adding up like what the mods are adding to your gear, and how much of your total is mods versus actual gear, and then I guess try to build the augments to get as close as possible to that. Now I think what the devs did is they probably made everything higher, so this is going to be pretty easy for like the pure roll build, like pure DPS, pure tank, etc. It's like the mixed builds that are going to be a bit harder to replicate. So I kind of wish I took screenshots of the test character, because they're not exactly the same. My test character doesn't have like the OP items. And the other thing that I don't think they're doing quite right here is releasing the augments the same time as content. Because this is a pretty big change to the way we mod our characters and the way they could possibly end up. So it would have been cool to release the augments first, because you know we've been playing Deluge and the Doomsday content, so we're kind of used to those two things, and it would be good to have augments come out, have us rework our characters, and then play the same content, because that's a controlled experiment, and I always talk about this when I'm on the test server. So it would be good to test augments with something we're used to, rather than changing that layer and then changing the content we play. So if anything goes wrong or feels wrong with the way we're building with augments, we're not going to be able to tell as much unless you purposely stay the same CR and don't play Titans when Titans comes out, which might not be a bad idea, but you know, the temptation's going to be there. The new content's there, you're going to want to play it. So yeah, the original plan for them was to release them separately, which I kind of wish they stuck to that, because I would like time with Augments separately. It actually doesn't matter which one they release first. Like if they release Titans first, then we'd get some time with that on our current mods and then switch to Augments. Okay, well, I just want to shoot that as a first pass. There's probably a lot of mistakes here, and I have to look at that video again to see how those other two slots are filled out. Because I don't have anything in there that will fill those. So maybe these two things will answer my question about, you know, getting custom builds. Because these four can't replicate what we have now. Yeah. Okay, that is it from here. I will certainly do more on this release. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.